Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck has you covered for your automotive car care needs. They're your neighborhood quick service experts. They also offer a low price tire guarantee. Choose from 13 brands, and if you find the same tires at a lower price within 30 days, Quick Lane at Valley Ford will refund the difference. They're open late Monday through Thursday until 9 p.m. and open early Saturday so you can check it off your to-do list and get on with your day. They also have a newly remodeled service lounge and additional service bay just for Quick Lane oil changes. Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck is located at 5715 Canal Road, right under the 480 Bridge in Valley View, just down the road from Independence. 5715 Canal Road, right under the 480 Bridge in Valley View, just down the road from Independence. Come see why life is better in the Quick Lane. quicklane.com/Valley Ford Truck. That's quicklane.com/Valley Ford Truck.
Business owners and professionals, do you want to take your business, your product, your team, your event to the next level? You want to advertise right here with the Sports Fix. Our listeners are among the most loyal listeners, terrestrial or internet. The Sports Fix universe is not only the radio show, but tens of thousands of fans on Facebook and Twitter. Email me, Jerry Myers, thesportsfix@AOL.com. That's thesportsfix@AOL.com. And let me help you swing for the fences and hit it out of the park right here on the Sports Fix.
The Sports Fix is now available every day on the world's largest internet radio service, iHeartRadio. Download the free iHeartRadio app, subscribe to the show, and get your fix.
News break.
Good morning, I'm Bob Picozzi. It will be the 6th Thursday night game of the NFL season, and the average margin of victory in the first 5 has been an astounding 29 points. AFC South co-leaders Indianapolis and Houston will meet tonight. Colts coach Chuck Pagano is hoping Texans defensive end J.J. Watt will not spend the entire evening in his backfield.
I don't care who you got in there. We could have 22 in there, 10 offense, 12 offensive linemen. I'd be scared all at the same time. If they'd let us play with that many, I'm saying. So it doesn't matter, who you have in there. That guy is as good as they get.
Watt has only 2 sacks this season, but had 20 and a half 2 years ago. Jets backup quarterback Michael Vick admits that he was not prepared to play when he replaced the struggling Geno Smith last Sunday in San Diego. Vick says he learned his lesson, always stay ready. CBSSports.com is reporting the Royals have decided to at least make an attempt to re-sign the race James Shields when he becomes a free agent after the season. New Penn State football coach James Franklin testified via Skype that he did not see a video of what police say was a sexual assault by 4 then Vanderbilt players 16 months ago. At the time, Franklin was the coach of the Commodores.
Get to Subway for the famous $5 footlong of October, the meatball marinara, smothered with our signature marinara sauce. Or go for the $3 6-inch select Black Forest ham and cheese with lean sliced ham on freshly baked bread. Both yours all October long. Subway, eat fresh.
Now, back to the Sports Fix.
Still live. We're still on the air. That's always a good thing. See? I got them segues just coming out like, you never know. You never know how I'm going to tie the music back into the show. That's what we do here. Welcome back in, you guys. What a crazy first hour of the show. Welcome back into the Sports Fix. J-Rock rolling on with you as we hit hour 2, numero dos, coming your way across the Sports Fix Radio Network. We're going to go to the hotline in just a moment. Eddy Jansen is going to join us for the first time. I told you guys a little bit about him earlier on. We'll talk about him. I'll get you his background. We'll tell his story and talk some Cavs here. BJ Rudell, author of Fantasy Football for Winners. He's with us for our weekly Fantasy Football for Winners segment. You know how we do it. 1:30 coming up here in hour number 2 gets you all set for the latest slate of games here. And if you listen, I'm telling you, well, you guys that listen know, because you guys hit him up every week, say, hey, I heard this, I heard that, I heard this, and it helped me win my game. So BJ Rudell, Eddy Jansen, both coming up the hour. But man, what a crazy first hour of the show. I mean, the phone lines were here. That's the best part, is the phone lines are jacked up, and I'm thinking, okay, something's wrong. And then the phone lines open up. We have Bruce calls. We can't get Kendall through. Then Kendall goes, man, I was dialing the wrong I'm dialing the wrong deal, and I'm so sorry. Let me get back on. So we fixed it. It just, what a crazy and that segment. I'm just, you could probably listen to that segment and just hear my voice run the gamut of emotions from, fired up, coming back, waiting, now starting to get suspicious. What's going on? Not sure which way I should go with the conversation. Oh man, I'm getting text messages. I don't have a board operator. I'm dealing with it live. Anyways, so all fun and good. Kendall did join us, and that was a great conversation. Thanks to you guys again. First hour in the books, but what a crazy one it was there. And I got to laugh at the news break. When they talk about J.J. Watt, he said, look, I said we could put 22 out there. I still wouldn't feel comfortable blocking that guy. That's when you know that a team's game planning for you right there, when the coaches make statements like that. Hey, guys, phone lines are not open because we've got Eddy Jansen coming up next on the line. You can hit us up on Facebook and Twitter and email Daddy, facebook.com/@thesportsfix, CLE, all one word. Email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com. Go into the phones. As I said, my next guest, first time on the show, Music Pod. There we go. Go into the phones. Eddy Jansen, former sports director at BW Radio, all kinds of things. Play-by-play man for Parma, W Week. I mean, Eddy's all over the place. Writes about the Cavs for More Than a Fan, Cleveland, and now he's going to talk some Cavs with us here on the show. Welcome to the Sports Fix for the first time, Eddy Jansen. Eddy, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing well, Jerry. Thanks for having me around the ball in terms of the Cleveland media, and definitely helping my cases getting on your show. So thank you very much for having me. Looking forward to it.
Oh, absolutely. Glad to have you. Thanks for being here. And like I said, I just gave a little bit of a quick rundown of it. But talk to the people out here. For those people that haven't heard you, maybe they haven't had a chance to read some of your stuff. I know some of our listeners follow the MTAF guys over there. But talk to me a bit about your history here in sports radio. I know you were sports director at BW Radio over there. Let's hear a little bit about, how you got here and onto the Sports Fix with me.
Well, Jerry, like you said before, we bumped into each other doing a game at Madison High School last week. They were taking on East Lake North, so definitely a small world in terms of the sports media. So that's kind of how I got to know you a little bit. And I did go to Baldwin Wallace College. It's actually Baldwin Wallace University now. Mm-hmm. I was actually amongst the very first class to have my degree from Baldwin Wallace University as opposed to Baldwin Wallace College. Majored in journalism and broadcast over there. Was a play-by-play voice for the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets for 4 years. Did lots of football, lots of baseball, and a ton, and I mean a ton of basketball, because over at WBWC, Baldwin Wallace Radio, we cover both Baldwin Wallace men's and women's hoops. So every time that there was a game, I was going somewhere on the road, in some armpit in the middle of Pennsylvania, or somewhere in a cornfield in Ohio, going to some smaller Division III college. I was really all over the place, tons of play-by-play experience. But I mean, it was an absolute blast. I mean, I could probably say that it was the time of my life, not just traveling around the state of Ohio and around this area with the surrounding states, but just developing a friendship and a bond with the players on the team, getting to know them and their personal lives through radio interviews. It was an absolute blast, and just continuing that into the professional Cleveland sports media with the Cavaliers, Browns, and Cleveland Indians.
And you segue that into doing some stuff. I know you sent me a couple of your articles after we did the game there with MTAF Cleveland, and I know those guys well. They've actually sat down and did a couple of their podcast interviews with me matter of fact, one of them was just last year. But I definitely very familiar with those guys over there at More Than a Fan Cleveland. How did you get hooked up with them and start writing Cavaliers articles for them?
Well, I'll tell you what, when you are at any Cleveland sports event, doesn't really matter if it's Cavaliers, Browns, or Indians, you're going to meet a lot of people.
To
say,
you know that.
Because needless to say, all three of those teams are a pretty big draw in terms of media. Probably the Browns more so than the Indians and the Cavs, but that trend is probably changing, needless to say, with LeBron's return, the acquisition of Kevin Love, and the new head coach in David Blatt with the Cavaliers. That's kind of my bread and butter, my Cavaliers squad. I have been with them for the past 3 years, been at just about every game. And Jerry, in this business, you know that you never, ever, ever take a sick day in this business. And I have not missed the Cavaliers game in the 3 years that I've had the credentials with them. So I guess, like I said before, I'm around the ball, with all three teams, but specifically the Cavaliers. And, the staff at More Than a Fan and I just kind of bumped into each other at a game, and, it was history from there.
And now you're off and running with it, man. And it's good to catch up with you. Good to have you here. Good background there on you there. And we'll give some links at the end. You can tell some people however you want to plug where they can follow you on Twitter and Facebook, whatever, the Twitter machine, whatever nifty things that you've got going on the social media. But let's segue around talking at Cavaliers. And I actually, it's funny, when we did the game, you're like, man, I'm pretty sure we've met each other before over the years. I was like, yeah, man, Cavs, man. I'm there like you as well. So like you said, small world, guys bump in and out throughout, but you've been down there. I actually have not. I was, media day, but I have not been around the team much since then. Unfortunately, things were different when I was at HK, and the show was 1 day a week, and you had much more time to go to everybody's practices and talk to everybody. And boy, life was fun. I'm not gonna lie, life was more fun when you have surprise when you have less responsibility. But as the show grows and as the time commitments grow, I'm not able to do as much as I'd like to with being day to day at the practices and talking to everybody, and still go to there covering the team there. Of course, the vibe, we've talked about it. Everybody knows the Gaga stories about stuff, but you were down there the other night, first game, and I'm still anxious to see this team against an NBA team. We still haven't seen that. They've practiced against themselves, but I mean, clearly, I joke because I got the 2K15 this week, the NBA video game. I will say that this team is incredibly video game fun. I mean, that one I can't lie, man. They do the things that you just go, man, if they do this in real life, there's going to be some interesting stuff. But there's going to be a lot of growth to get where they want to end up at the end of this season here. Talk to me a bit about what you've seen early on. I know you're really impressed, as am I, with Coach Blatt.
Oh, absolutely, Jerry. And I think this past Sunday, Blatt and company and his staff really did take a big step in the right direction. Now, you can make all kind of arguments and say, oh, well, it was just the first preseason game of the year. It was against Maccabi Tel Aviv. They're a Euro League team, so they really don't stack up to much of an NBA team. At best, they would probably stack up to one of the lottery teams. Talent-wise, but, I mean, you look at what the Cavs were able to accomplish in such a short period of time. They really didn't play too good of a defensive unit in the first half, but the second half they made one really quick adjustment in the locker room, and then they were pretty much able to run away with that game with LeBron not playing the entire second half. I think Kyrie Irving probably played a maximum of 4 or 5 minutes in the third quarter and then sat for the rest of the game. Obviously, the same goes for Kevin Love. I mean, he really didn't see much action at all in the second half. So really, the big thing for the Cavaliers in that game was they developed some chemistry with their second unit. And David Blatt really doesn't view those guys as the second unit, quote unquote. He really likes to think of them as, well, you have starters and then you have second starters. So that's pretty much how he valued his bench. I mean, David Blatt in that offensive system, you have to value depth on that team. And the secondary pieces that the Cavaliers brought in the offseason, your Mike Millers, your Sean Marions, your just about anybody else that they pick up, your James Joneses, they were able to develop a synergy against a team in Maccabi Tel Aviv that is quite demanding offensively because they can score, because they still somewhat use David Blatt's system from a year ago when he coached them. So, I mean, the Cavaliers, it's only one game, but they really did accomplish a lot. LeBron looked happy to be home. Kyrie Irving and Deion Waiters combined for 35 points. Varejao and Thompson both posted double-digit figures and rebounds. And defensively in the second half, they were pretty stout. So they looked sharp early, and hopefully they'll be able to continue it when they take on the Miami Heat this Saturday against their first NBA challenge for the 2014-2015 season.
Yeah, we'll talk about this weekend coming up because that's going to be, like you said, their first one there against another NBA team. It's little steps in progress. A couple of things. You brought up the rebounding. I talked about it several times since this team came together. That's one place that I really, and LeBron's